We have kind of a week and a half, but so many rainouts.
So many rainouts.
Couple rainouts, obviously one versus Pittsburgh last week and one versus the Royals. So
what are we
Cardinals,
thinking? What are we thinking with the Cardinals?
You got an off day, and then they're headed down to Miami to take on the. So they got Marlins and Reds coming up this week. I think we should open up the text line. What are you thinking through the Cardinals' first week plus of games? I think clearly when you're watching the Milwaukee series, and again, to get a split on the road against a good team, it's fine. When you win 2 out of the first 3, you want to go for the jugular. I get that. I think the fact that Michaelis and Steven Matz pitched well, that's good to see. That's good to see because that's not an easy ballpark. I mean, that's a hitter's park. The Brewers lineup is okay. It's not elite by any means, but with Steven Matz, his first outing was so rough, and then you heard about the blister, and you're wondering, was that really a blister issue? Was it something else? So he looked really, really good. And then Miles Michaelis also. Miles Michaelis is a guy who he was fantastic his first year, and he gets that big contract. He was okay, pretty decent his second year, but he's really been injured the last couple years. So if Miles Michaelis can just be steady, you have some guys where if you're a Cardinal starting pitcher, you don't have to do too much. If you throw strikes, you mentioned earlier that the Cardinals had 7 walks yesterday. If you throw strikes in front of this defense, and if you're throwing a lot of sinkers and you're inducing a lot of ground balls to a historically good defense, you should win a lot of games. I mean, the Cardinals pitching staff, they don't have to strike everybody out. Now, somebody like Waino, I think he can put up some big strikeout games. Matt's, actually, all the guys this past weekend, besides Dakota Hudson, struck some guys out. But I mean, when Flaherty comes back, Flaherty's a strikeout guy. But for the most part, if you're the Cardinals pitching staff, just roll a bunch of ground balls and pitch to contact in front of 5 to 6 to 7 Gold Glove defenders out there.
Like, go do your thing. Speaking of Gold Glovers, how's our boy Harrison doing? How's he doing?
All right, so Harrison Bader, offensively, so we're talking 241, right? 241 average, 313 OBP, 345 slug. Starting the year off a little slow there.
Yeah.
Offensively.
Defensively, he's okay. No blunders.
He's always going to, defense travels. Harrison Bader has a lot of value. He brings the ballpark even when he's not hitting. But I do think that was the big question with Harrison Bader. Can he be a plus offensive player? Or even if Harrison Bader is a little above league average, he has so many other attributes that helps you win games. But I think there's potential there. It's so early, but man, he could be a 20-homer guy. He could hit a lot of doubles. He could hit a lot of triples.
How's the shortstop looking?
Paul DeJong and Amundo Sosa.
Doing?
So Paul DeJong had the homer early, which you like to see that go in opposite field that first series of the season. But overall, also struggling. Goldschmidt's struggling. So DeJong's hitting $167.
Ooh.
Goldie's hitting $138.
Ooh.
Goldie's drawing some walks here and there. But it's 8 games in. I think it's hard to draw a lot from 8 games in. And even these pitchers, 2 starts. Yeah, you want to see the guys that struggled early like Matz, Michaelis. You want to see them bounce back. Dakota Hudson, he's had 2 poor outings. Remember, he's coming off basically not pitching at all.
Yeah, that's right.
He came back last year and threw a little bit in the minor leagues, but he's coming off of Tommy John. So that's a guy also, I don't think they're going to have him throw a ton of pitches. On the plus side, I mean, Jordan Hicks has looked really good. So I think you're excited to see him. Because of the whole rainout situation, they've brought him out of the bullpen twice, but eventually here he's going to get a start.
What about Tyler? Big Tyler O'Neill. Doing his thing, hair looking good, still jacked?
Still jacked. Tyler O'Neill, again, started off strong, so we're talking 276 average, 343 on base, 414 slugs, so not fantastic. Obviously, Nolan Arenado is just crushing the baseball.
Man.
Tommy Edman is another guy that you wondered about him early, and he's been really, really good. Albert is just destroying lefties. And Kisner's another bright spot offensively.
Spartan 44 chimes in and goes, the offense and defense look really good. The back end of the starting rotation is lacking, but it's early, and Pujols should DH every day. Sorry, Mike.
I disagree with that. But I think Albert's going to hit versus every lefty, and Albert should get a decent amount of these starts versus righties. But you also got to watch and see what you're seeing. He's taking some good at bats versus righties. He's destroying lefties, and he's hitting the ball hard versus righties. So at this point, I'm not going to really complain about that. But I think sometimes we look at it the wrong way. Sometimes we look at it more and we focus on Albert and how he's looking versus righties, when you're also not getting the sample size of, well, what could Corey Dickerson look like versus these righties?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's an unknown in terms of if Corey Dickerson doesn't get the start, I mean, hell, he could go 3 for 4 with a homer and a double. You don't know that, right? I mean, that's the reason you brought Corey Dickerson over. And somebody like Lars Nootbaar also, I think he should get some opportunities every once in a while versus righties.
Nate the Great, what are you saying over there, big boy? What are you saying over there?
Well, I hate to rip on our guy Kiz. I like Andrew Kisner, but we have been spoiled, all right, watching, at least in my tenure on this earth, Mike Matheny, who's a hell of a defensive catcher.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously Yadier Molina. And, you know, it's not that Kiz is, like, bad. It's not Yadier Matheny standard. And, like, yesterday he had a really bad throw in a timely spot, which turned out to be a big error in the game. And he threw the ball to second base because the guy thought he was tagging up from third to score, so the guy broke from second. And that should have been an out, inning over, and instead a run scores, and it was just it was a major blunder. And also, you know, Kisner's like moving a lot behind the plate, and Molina, there are all sorts of like advanced analytics that look at catchers who steal strikes based on how well they can frame pitches. And like Kisner catches the ball and his wrist like just moves.
Oh, really?
And you're just not used to seeing that with Molina, and that's can be a big difference in the game. And so right now I know Yachty's dealing with a little knee soreness, but hopefully that doesn't keep him out of the lineup for too long. But I like Kiz's bat. There's a lot to like, but man, we've been spoiled defensively, and it's
like having a really good goalie for a long time, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden you don't have an average one, and you're used to seeing this greatness. I
Yeah.
get you. Who's before Matheny? Pagnazzi? Todd?
Yeah, probably was Tom Pagnazzi.
Todd. I remember him.
And then you had like Eli Marrero and Tom Lampkin for a hot minute, but
Matheny was pretty cool back there, though. Eh? Like
he was very good.
He had the look. He had the attitude. Did his thing.
Yeah.
Big, tough-looking guy, man. Good Lord. Doesn't age.
Look, the Cardinals are. I think their lineup is fun after watching Milwaukee. I know it was only 4 games, but everybody talks about Milwaukee's pitching. I thought it was okay. It didn't strike me as, oh my gosh, they got all these Cy Youngs. And then I forgot that the Milwaukee Brewers are all about this new age game where they're going to use 7-8 guys, and their goal is to get their starter. Maybe if he goes 5 innings, that's great. And then we're going to throw these heavy lifters at you, Boxberger, Hader, and if you get where you're kind of counting outs, like
Milwaukee Brewers equals long, drawn-out game, basically.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of
sucks.
starters that are going to throw a complete game, and that's not the game that I grew up on. It's very different, and I can't say that it's entertaining by any means. I suppose if you win, then that's great, but woof.
It's a long one. Long, drawn-out game. Pitcher after new pitcher, come in, do this, do that. Man,
I think, so I know Brandon Woodruff has been really good. The guy that to me is just so freaking nasty, and the Cardinals missed him in the series, is Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns is freaking nasty, man. And he throws hard. He throws everything hard with movement. He's very deceptive. So that's the guy that if I'm looking at the Brewers rotation, that's the guy that I don't want to face. Hader is unbelievable. I mean, Hader's right up there. I know Liam Hendricks the last couple of years, but if I had to pick one reliever in baseball the last 2-3 years, 4 years, it's Josh Hader. He's that good. He can pitch multiple innings. He can go an inning and a third or inning 2/3 if it gets to that in a playoff type situation. I know Devin Williams didn't have a great performance, but he can be absolutely nasty, huge strikeout numbers. Arguably the best pitch in baseball, his changeup. And Boxberger doesn't throw hard, and still he'll miss bats with 93, where he's throwing it seemingly down the middle. So that guy moves the ball too, because major league hitters aren't hitting 93 if it's straight. Or excuse me, they're not missing 93
I was gonna say.
if it's straight.
We just saw Mike Trout took one off the wrist there. He thought he was going to get hit in the you-know-what, and so he turned his body, and he got caught right in the wrist. Should have just moved his big butt over. Took out like a champ like the other guy did. There's a lot of memes out of that one.
Sean Murphy.
Yeah, he got hit right in the ass.
People are slow-moing
They're
it
slow-mo.
with like seductive music.
Yeah. Sit DeYoung and let Sosa play more than one start! Exclamation point.
That's fair that he needs a little more run.
Yeah, yesterday felt like it was 162 games in almost 4 hours.
Oh, man.
The game yesterday.
Yeah, it was a long one. We had it on at the house. Ooh, family over. It was nice. But, yeah, it's just a long... Man, you watch some of these Blues games, and you go back and watch the Cardinals, like, whoa, I don't know. Like, they're going 100 miles an hour. It's just, yeah, it was a slow game. They're all slow, though.
And so what I think is interesting, I'd love to get Nate's take on this, too, because he broadcasts so much minor league baseball. So apparently, over the weekend, they had the first time where they're really enforcing some of these pace of play rules. And I believe it was the first night of it. The games were 30 minutes shorter. 30 minutes.
That's a long time.
That is big time.
Man. Yeah, man.
What
So
were the staples? I mean, mostly pitchers?
Well, they're doing, the whole pitch clock. And so you're basically giving either the pitcher a ball or the hitter a strike if they're not ready to pitch or ready to hit by the time the pitch clock starts.
Oh, okay. So,
but it really, again, I don't know if they want to trim 30 minutes off a game. If we had a nice crisp, let's say the average game was in the major leagues, let's say it was 245. I think they'd be cool with that for an average game.
Yeah, 245? Absolutely. You get past 3 hours, get into 3.5 hours, it's too long, man. It's just too long. So
that's a huge change. 30 minutes.
Big time, dude. 30 minutes, like you're already back home, kicking your feet up, doing your thing.
The Brewers made, I think, 7 pitching changes yesterday. The Cardinals used 5 or 6. And all of those guys who came in, they take 30 seconds in between pitches.
Oh, it's horrible. Who's really bad at that?
Hicks.
Oh, Hicks, that's right.
Oh, my word.
What does he do?
I think he's revving up the arm to throw 102 again, so he can't just get back on the mound and rear back and gun it.
Is he the one that's notorious for just taking forever between pitches? He's the one.
I feel
he
like
was the one yesterday.
Lester took forever last year, just in his career in general. He was one of those dudes.
I was going to say, because if they're not ready in time, is it going to take more time for them to give a ball and a strike? So it's going to, right? So they have to keep speeding it up. Like, how does that work again?
So just so we have the numbers. So it was Friday night, and it was the first time ever minor league baseball enforced the new pitch clock rules, and the results were dramatic. I'm reading from this Baseball America article. Average game length last night, so that was Friday, for 9-inning games was 2 hours, 38 minutes compared to 3 hours and 4 minutes for all other games this year. So this is minor league baseball, but you're shaving off basically 26 minutes of those Friday night games. And you mentioned somebody like Hicks. So that's part of this too, is not only, now some pitchers take way too long just to get the sign. And some hitters take way too long. They step out of the box. They do the Nomar Garciaparra, where you just adjust every batting glove 47 times. Yeah. I've always said the best way to speed up baseball is to have the old rule in high school. I don't know if it's still a rule, but you have to keep 1 foot in the box.
Yep.
That was the rule that I feel like when you keep the hitter 1 foot in the box, step out with your other foot, get your sign, get right back in. But part of this is what you mentioned, and I don't know if specifically Hicks is doing it for this reason, but it's part of the max effort approach. It's just like if you're bench pressing and you're trying to max out, if you go sit down, you do 1 rep, you don't get right back. You wait 2 minutes, right? You wait 3.
That's your mentality, but go ahead.
Okay, but I'm saying you're going to rest till you feel like your muscles are ready to go back and max effort another 1 rep. And that's what these pitchers are doing nowadays. If you're gassing up as a reliever, you're only throwing 1 inning or 2 innings. And even if you're a starting pitcher and you're trying to spread now 100 pitches over 5 innings, you allow your body and your arm to recover more if you give yourself longer in between pitches, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can take, unfortunately, 20, 25 seconds to totally regroup, get your breath back, regroup with your muscles to throw another max effort pitch. I think that's a lot of it. These dudes trying to throw 100 miles an hour. They want to have as much time as possible in between their reps, which are their pitches.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, try to do a bunch of max out on something and then wait 5 seconds and try to do it again. You're not going to do it. You're going to have jelly arms, man. So, yeah, I get it, but it's just, I don't care. Get your ass in there and pitch. Like, I don't want you. I don't care about the max effort. I want this to go and get in there. So, I don't know, man. It's not weightlifting. It's baseball.
It is kind of wild when you look at the Cardinal starters. Like, when Wainwright's in a groove, he's getting the ball, he's firing. Michaelis is pretty quick.
Yeah.
And even Steven Matz has been pretty quick. And yet these relievers, they come in and it just slows everything down.
I know, man.
Holy cow.
It is a lot. Hey, Cam, I just heard your comment about what else is there to do in Milwaukee. Compare it to what? St. Louis? Are you kidding me? Have you ever been to the lakefront, especially during the Summerfest? Dude, no, I know. No, it's gorgeous up there. I'm saying for Jim in Milwaukee to try to be clever with this, like he talked to everybody already. Like, I don't know. Like, is this go to the haunted hotel and talk about that? That's what I meant. No, St. Louis, you kidding me? Yeah, no, Milwaukee's nice. Really is. Cold as hell, but there's lakes. There's a lot of stuff to do. You get a nice big house for pretty cheap up there. It's nice, man. I didn't mean to chirp it that bad. Compared to St. Louis, I didn't say St. Louis was fun either.
Good golf.
Yeah, great golf.
So I think big picture, though, for the weekend. Now, if you're the Cardinals and you have a chance after you drop the opener, you come back, you win the next couple games. So you're thinking you have a chance to win a big series with your rival on the road to start the season. Milwaukee's pretty good, though. I think Milwaukee and the Cardinals, they're going to be going toe-to-toe all season long in the Central. So clearly you want to take 3 out of 4. But if you go on the road early, if you can split on the road with these good teams and win your series at home, that's kind of the old cliche. Obviously, when you have a chance to win the series, it's going to be a disappointment. But Milwaukee's pretty good.
Pretty good. Albert hit another dinger last night or yesterday. That was nice.
Look, Albert, so look at that game yesterday. First inning, he's got a shot, bases loaded, takes a called, third strike. Comes back his next opportunity and hits a freaking just majestic home run.
Yep.
It was pretty cool, too, that a Cardinals fan caught it.
Oh, yeah?
And you see that kid out there, and he's texting. Everybody's looking at him because he's on the TV and all that. But look, man, Albert is a legitimate threat versus lefties. I mean, he is, by the numbers still, the last couple of years, one of the best hitters in baseball against left-handed pitching. So this is not all about nostalgia with Albert Pujols. He destroys lefties.
Yeah, man.
Should not be a coincidence. That's where his 2 dingers have come from.
Yep.
I think the more interesting conversation, now he's taken better at bats overall versus righties, but the interesting conversation is going to be how often he gets in there versus righties, and how does he have to produce to get those ABs over a guy like Dickerson or Lars Nootbaar. But it shouldn't surprise us one bit that he's hitting bombs off lefties, and he should get every single start versus a lefty.
I thought he was going to get a grand
Absolutely.
slam. Bases loaded. I'm like, here it comes. If it was at home, he probably would have done it. That place, man, like I said, if you hit a home run, packed Busch Stadium, it's like winning a Game 7 Stanley Cup overtime winner. Like, just the emotion in the crowd. Like, then you watch some of these other places, man, it's just dead. No one cares. You go to Busch, like, God, these players, I don't know if they really understand how good they have it, man. When you walk out there and see 50,000 crazy people, you hit a home run, it's like walking on water, man. It's like scoring, again, like in triple overtime or something. And that's Game 5. It's crazy.
No, this is going to be a fun year. It's going to be a fun
crazy,
year for
dude.
so many reasons. Yachty and Waino hopefully setting that record for starts as a battery. But that's the thing. It's not all about nostalgia. I know Yachty's not playing a ton right now.
Yeah.
He had a short spring training. And Kisner's hitting also. And we've said for the last couple of years, this is no disrespect to Yachty, but it would benefit Yachty and the team to have more of a timeshare like what we've seen this season. And I think early on, Kisner's playing even more than he will, because Kisner's not going to be playing 3 straight games for most of the year.
Yeah.
But if Yachty's not 100% for whatever reason, remember, he came to camp late. He had a personal reason. We don't know why. None of our business.
Whatever.
So he came to camp late, and then you had a shortened spring training anyway. So he's not in the exact same condition as he would be in past years in terms of how many innings you're catching, how many games you're catching in spring training. So Kisner's going to play a little more early. But I think once you get into the groove of the season, I think Yachty's going to probably get 4 starts a week. Kiz will probably get 2, and that's a good split.
Did they have 7 walks yesterday?
They did.
Problem.
They did.
That's a problem. Rockwood chimes in and goes, Milwaukee is a crap town full of bloated cheese eaters who enjoy crap beer. I like Miller, man. I like Miller. Don't tell Tom Stillman that. I like Miller Lite. I like Miller
I do
Lite.
too. I hate to say it.
My wife hates it.
Do we really have to be like, oh, our beer's better than their beer? We're kind
whatever.
of the same town.
I
We're both
know.
beer towns.
Exactly right.
If you lived up there, you drink all Miller Lite. We get it. You're here. You're drinking Bud Light. They're both kind of the same.
I drink both, okay? I like Bud Select right now. I'm in the Bud Select. But damn, I like because my wife drinks it too. But if I bring Miller, she doesn't drink that. And I love Miller. I love every beer. That's what it is, right?
Plus,
What's wrong with me?
Plus Miller, it's going to be one of those naming rights deals where I don't think anybody's going to ever call that place, whatever the hell it's called now, American Family Ballpark. Because when you're Miller Park,
yeah, dude.
and you look like a keg, by the way, they call it the keg.
Yeah.
And it's been ingrained in your brains for however many years at your Miller Park. Like, I'm never not going to call that Miller Park.
Yeah.
It's Miller Park. I mean, you're a beer town. Your name is literally the Brewers. Why are you American Family? I'm sure they wrote a nice big check, but still, it's Miller Park.
How cold is it there? I mean, did they have an retractable roof?
Yes.
Okay. That's kind of nice, eh?
Don't have to worry about the weather.
So you can just open it mid-game?
It's a nice stadium.
It's kind of cool.
It looks weird from the outside. It's
Like
kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's not really, well, it's not downtown. You got to go a little ways up there. And it's surrounded by parking in a way where it's kind of a cool tailgate setting because you got Packers fans, Wisconsin Badger fans. So
yeah.
they like to drink out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
It's a big tailgate scene.
It is just like St. Louis. Midwest, beer drinking, do their thing. They don't have a hockey team up there. They're probably good. I don't know. Charlie loves Chicago. Charlie loves Miller Lite.
Charlie
I love
loves
Miller Lite.
Chicago. I mean, I used to love going to Chicago back in the day.
Oh, of course.
When I was in my 20s.
Chicago's fun. If you can't have fun in Chicago, I don't know what the hell you're doing. Just walk around. Go check some places out, man. Chicago's really cool. God, I had some good times in Chicago. Dang, dang, dang.